All right, so I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we got no deal. WNBA, WNBPA still have not agreed to terms. This is day 2 of another 12-hour straight meeting face-to-face, and there's no deal done. This is a travesty, especially after that epic Caitlin Clark performance we witnessed that got us all hyped up for today. The WNBA owners have still not agreed to terms with the WNBPA. We got to break this thing down, man.
The March 10th deadline came and went with a deafening silence that could destroy the biggest hype train in basketball history. Caitlin Clark just finished an epic performance that had the world screaming her name, but behind closed doors, her professional debut is being sabotaged. The WNBPA and the league owners are locked in a room, and after 12 hours of intense face-to-face combat, they walked out with absolutely nothing. This isn't just a small delay, it's a full-blown crisis that puts the entire 30th season in jeopardy while the world's most famous rookie waits in the wings.
I think what we are feeling is movement, Nneka Ogwumike said, and added, we want to play. We've heard that from the other side as well. We need to see a more robust demonstration of that. Okay, so she's basically calling out the league saying, hey, you guys say a deal needs to get done, but hey, you guys aren't, y'all not pulling y'all weight. Y'all not doing enough for us. All right. Alexa Philippou also, she just posted, Ogwumike added that there have been 7 proposals exchanged over the past 2 days, and the players are waiting for a response on an 8th. 7 proposals. No.
The details leaking out of Midtown Manhattan are absolutely chilling for any fan expecting to see Clark take the court this summer. We're talking about marathon sessions that started at 2 p.m. and dragged on until 5:20 in the morning, only for the players to walk out the side door without uttering a single word. Reporters like Alexa Philippou and Annie Costabile have been camped out for hours, witnessing the physical exhaustion of a league at war with itself. 7 different proposals were thrown across the table in just 48 hours, and every single one of them was shot down like it never existed.
7 proposals exchanged over the past 2 days, and the players are waiting for a response on an 8th. 7 proposals, no deal done. No, not 7 overall. 7 proposals in the last 2 days. This is crazy. They are waiting on a response on an 8th proposal. Players left for the night, but staff on both sides are still meeting. This is insanity, guys. This is insanity. Okay, she said bargaining started today around 2 p.m., though there were some internal meetings even earlier than that. Both sides have been trading proposals since
Nneka Ogwumike, the face of the players union, finally broke the silence, but her words offered little comfort to those fearing a lockout. She admitted there is movement, but she's calling out the league for not providing a robust demonstration of their commitment to the players. It's a high-stakes game of chicken where the collateral damage is the most anticipated rookie class in the history of the sport. The union is essentially calling the league's bluff, claiming that while everyone says they want a deal, the actual effort being put on paper is nowhere near enough to satisfy the demands of the athletes.
That was a little while back. So this thing is wrapped up, and I mean, bro, 7 proposals and there's still no deal, man. This is crazy, crazy work. I know one thing. Sip my Jamba Juice. I know one thing. Y'all better get this damn deal done. After what I seen from Caitlin Clark today, I need to see her playing WNBA this year. I don't care what gotta go down. I don't care what gotta go down. Y'all need to get this thing done ASAP. ASAP like Rocky. Shout out to Annie Constable. She posted this on.
While the executives were trading insults and paperwork, the clock was ticking toward a catastrophic failure that nobody seems willing to stop. They are currently waiting on an 8th proposal, a desperate attempt to save the season before the internal infrastructure of the WNBA completely collapses. It's pure insanity to think that with all the momentum Caitlin Clark has generated, the leadership is letting this slip through their fingers. Both sides are retreating to their corners, leaving staff members to sift through the wreckage of failed negotiations while the players literally exit the building in frustration.
This is insanity, man. The WNBA and WNBPA resumed their marathon bargaining session at a hotel in Midtown on Wednesday at 2 p.m. in an effort to hammer out a new CBA. without delaying the league's 30th season. Only hours earlier, both sides have wrapped a 12-hour-long meeting before calling it a night at roughly 5:20 in the morning on Wednesday morning without a deal. And this is a quote from Kathy Engelbert. She said, "We still have work to do, but we're working hard, I guarantee you." As of 11 p.m. on Wednesday night, discussions were still ongoing, with both sides trading multiple proposals over the course of more.
Commissioner Kathy Engelbert tried to put a brave face on the disaster, but even her public statements are starting to sound like a funeral dirge for the upcoming season. She stood before the cameras after 20 hours of total meeting time and admitted that there is still a massive amount of work to do. She guaranteed that discussions are ongoing, but the lack of a signature on the dotted line is the only metric that matters right now. The league previously set a hard deadline of March 10th, warning that missing it would lead to significant delays, and we have officially sailed past that point into dangerous waters.
Still got nothing. At the end of the day, we still got nothing, okay? We need a season to go down. Y'all need a season to go down, or y'all not gonna have no leagues. Unrivaled is not like that, okay? Y'all need to make sure this thing goes down, and time is of the essence, and it needs to get moving like right now. Right now. Okay? Here it says, on February 23rd, the league told players that if a deal was not reached by March 10th, the season would face delays. After the first day of negotiations concluded and that deadline passed, Engelbert declined to get into specifics regarding a timeline for the upcoming.
The irony of this situation is almost too much to handle when you look at the ratings and the revenue Caitlin Clark is expected to bring in. You have a superstar ready to skyrocket the league's value to the moon, yet the people in charge can't agree on how to divide the pie before the oven is even turned on. The crew is watching this dumpster fire unfold in real time, wondering how a professional organization can be this disorganized at its most critical moment. It's not just a disagreement over a few dollars. It's a fundamental breakdown of trust between the athletes who play the game and the owners who run it.
Here it says, on February 23rd, the league told players that if a deal was not reached by March 10th, the season would face delays. After the first day of negotiations concluded and that deadline passed, Engelbert declined to get into specifics regarding a timeline for the upcoming season. This is a quote from Kathy Engelbert. "We've got to get this deal done," Engelbert said on Wednesday morning. "We've got to get it done soon." One differentiator between the bargaining session that began Tuesday evening and Wednesdays was the way both sides spent their breaks. During Tuesday's 12-hour session, neither side exited the hotel until negotiations concluded. On Wednesday, players, union staff.
Let's talk about the two massive sticking points that are currently blocking Caitlin Clark's path to the professional hardwood: revenue sharing and housing. The players have made it crystal clear that they are done compromising on where they live and how they are compensated for the league's growth. They are demanding that the owners pay for their housing forever, a stance that has become a non-negotiable pillar of their platform. For 17 months, these two issues have acted like a poison in the well, preventing any real progress despite the desperate need for a new deal before the season starts.
Have been two of the most critical sticking points over the roughly 17 months of negotiations. And we all know the players, they're not playing about, they want y'all to pay for their cribs. They're not playing about that. Y'all gonna pay for this housing forever. Forever, ever. Yes, forever, ever, okay? The players are staying on that housing situation. They are not playing getting the housing taken off. So that's definitely a standpoint that they are standing on, man. Annie Constable also posted after roughly 12 hours at the table, players are leaving.
The tension in that Midtown hotel was so thick you could cut it with a knife as the executive committee members sat across from the league's top brass. Brianna Stewart, Alicia Clark, and Brianna Turner were all in the room, representing a union that is clearly tired of being told to wait for their fair share. They aren't just fighting for themselves. They're fighting for the future, but in doing so, they might be accidentally sabotaging the very year that could change their lives. It's a paradox of power where long-term security is clashing violently with the immediate need to capitalize on the hype. Imagine being the most famous basketball player in the world right now and watching your future being gambled away in a hotel conference room by people who can't agree on a lunch order. The WNBA is holding the line, refusing to cave to proposals that don't meet their housing demands, even as the threat of a canceled season looms larger every hour. This isn't just a minor hurdle, it's a structural failure that suggests the league wasn't actually prepared for the level of success it's currently experiencing. They are trying to build a skyscraper on sand, and the cracks are swallowing the 2024 calendar. The timeline of this disaster is what really makes your head spin when you realize how little time is left to save the year. They spent 12 hours in a room on Tuesday, didn't leave until 5 in the morning, and then went right back at it at 2 o'clock the next afternoon. That's not a sign of a healthy negotiation. That's a sign of a desperate last-ditch effort to stop a total league shutdown. When you have staff members delivering food to reporters because the meetings are going so long, you know the situation is dire. The exhaustion is setting in, and tired people make the most explosive decisions. There's a growing fear that if this deal doesn't get hammered out in the next 24 hours, the WNBA as we know it might face a permanent scar. We've seen other leagues like Unrivaled trying to step up and offer alternatives, but let's be real, that's not the stage Caitlin Clark belongs on. She needs the WNBA, and more importantly, the WNBA needs her to survive the massive debt and logistical hurdles it's been facing for decades. Yet, here we are, watching 7 proposals get tossed in the trash like they were nothing more than scrap paper, while the fans wonder if they'll have a team to root for. The players are standing their ground on the housing issue because they know this is their only leverage to ensure they aren't being exploited during this period of massive growth. They want the cribs paid for, and they want it written in stone so that no owner can take it away once the initial Caitlin Clark fever dies down. It's a smart business move on one hand, but on the other it feels like they are holding the entire sport hostage at the exact moment it was supposed to take off. The owners are clutching their wallets, refusing to yield on housing, and the resulting stalemate is a total travesty. It's almost laughable that the league told the players back in February that March 10th was the drop-dead date for a deal. They literally set their own deadline, watched it pass by while eating takeout in a hotel lobby, and then acted surprised when the season faced delays. This kind of mismanagement is exactly why the union is being so aggressive. They don't trust the league to look out for their best interests. The lack of transparency and the constant leaks to the media have only fueled the fire, turning a standard negotiation into a public relations nightmare that is threatening to burn down the house. Every time a reporter posts an update about another 10 hours passing without a deal, the collective heart of the basketball world sinks a little further. We just witnessed a performance from Clark that proved she is the real deal, a once-in-a-generation talent who can transform the economy of women's sports. To have that momentum met with a bureaucratic wall of no deal is a slap in the face to every fan who bought a ticket. The owners are essentially saying their bottom line is more important than the unprecedented opportunity sitting in front of them, and the players are refusing to budge. The 8th proposal is currently sitting in a digital limbo, waiting for a response that could either save the league or sink it into a year-long hiatus. If the WNBPA rejects this one too, there's no telling when they'll actually meet again or if there will be any season to speak of in 2024. The atmosphere is toxic, with both sides trading jabs through the media while pretending to be working hard behind closed doors. You have the union staff digging in their heels, preparing for a long winter of discontent if the owners don't show a more robust demonstration of their willingness to share the wealth. We have to look at the reality of what a delayed season actually means for a rookie like Caitlin Clark, who is at the peak of her marketability. If she isn't on a court this summer, she loses the chance to capitalize on the massive wave of support she has right now. The league is effectively blocking her future by failing to provide a stable environment for her to work in. It's a sabotage of the highest order, whether it's intentional or just a byproduct of gross incompetence from the leadership at the top. The fans are hyped, the players are ready, but the lawyers are standing in the way of greatness. There's a certain level of insanity in the fact that these negotiations have been going on for 17 months and they are still stuck on the same 2 issues. How do you spend over a year talking about housing and revenue sharing and still find yourself in a 12-hour marathon meeting at the 11th hour? It suggests that neither side was taking the other seriously until the Caitlin Clark effect made the stakes too high to ignore. Now they are scrambling to fix a broken system under the harsh glare of a global spotlight, and the pressure is causing the whole structure to buckle and fail. The players leaving the hotel for the night while the staff stayed behind is a classic sign of a negotiation that has hit a complete dead end. It's the corporate version of "we will talk when you are ready to be reasonable," and it never bodes well for a quick resolution. The WNBPA is clearly not in the mood to play nice, and they aren't afraid to walk away if the 8th proposal proposal doesn't include the housing guarantees they've been demanding. They know they hold the keys to the kingdom, and they aren't going to let the league open the gates until they get the keys to their own front doors in return. What's even more frustrating is the silence from the commissioner when asked about the specific timeline for the upcoming season now that the deadline has been missed. She declined to give any specifics, which is basically code for "we have no idea if there will even be a season." That kind of uncertainty is poison for sponsors, for broadcasters, and for the fans who are ready to pour millions of dollars into the league. By refusing to sign the CBA, the union is taking a massive gamble that the league will blink first, but if the owners play hardball, we could be looking at a total tragedy. You can feel the frustration from the reporters on the ground who are watching this dumpster fire unfold from the hotel lobby. They are seeing the exhaustion on the faces of the players and the grim expressions of the executives as they shuffle in and out of the meeting rooms. This isn't just business as usual. This is a crisis of identity for a league that is trying to transition from a niche product to a mainstream powerhouse. But you can't be a powerhouse if you can't even provide housing for your athletes or agree on how to share the money that hasn't even fully arrived in the bank yet. The fact that 7 proposals were exchanged in just 2 days shows that there is a frantic energy to get something done, but it also shows how far apart the two sides really are. If you're trading proposals that quickly, you're not negotiating. You're just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks, and so far everything is falling to the floor. The WNBPA is waiting on that 8th proposal like it's a life raft in the middle of a sinking ocean, but if it's just more of the same, the ship is going down. Caitlin Clark's future is hanging by a thread, being pulled by people with massive egos. As we move into day 3 of this nightmare, the question on everyone's mind is whether a deal can actually be reached before the damage becomes permanent. The union staff and league executives are still grinding away, but without the players in the room, it feels like a hollow exercise in paperwork. We need to see a season, we need to see the growth, and we desperately need to see Caitlin Clark take her rightful place on the professional stage. But until the WNBPA gets the robust demonstration they are looking for, the only thing we're going to see is more empty hotel lobbies and frustration. At the end of the day, this isn't just about a contract. It's about whether the WNBA is actually ready for the greatness that is knocking on its door. Sabotaging the most important season in league history over housing disputes and revenue percentages feels like a massive step backward for women's sports. If they can't get this 8th proposal signed, they aren't just blocking Caitlin Clark's future. They're blocking the future of every girl who saw that epic performance and thought there was a place for her to go. It's time for the ego to take a back seat and for the vision to finally become a reality.